Good evening and welcome to the Nighttime Heat right here on Prom FM 105.5. This program is also being relayed by Radio Get Geman in Nima County, Radio Kwatika in Bon County, and of course, Radio Wologisi in Lofa County. We are streaming live as usual on Prom FM Morovia 105.5. Again, if you want to watch us online, just log on to Prom FM Monrovia 105.5. In addition to that, we are also streaming live on our YouTube channel. That's the Nighttime Heat YouTube channel. Also, we are streaming live on our Facebook page. That's the Nighttime Heat Facebook page. Just tap Nighttime Heat, and of course, you follow, and of course, you're going to watch the show online. So we are both online and on radio. So hoping that you are there because we are right here. One of our panelists is in. I know the others will shortly join us so that we can discuss about Mama Liberia tonight. And of course, you know, the big news, the ruling Unity Party has ended. You know, over the weekend they held its a homecoming program. So today, our analysis will be on the ruling Unity Party homecoming program. We'll be looking at the crowds because, you know, when the party was trying to pull a multitude of people, you know, at the same time, CDC was also pulling crowd in Mangibi County. So we're going to look at that and talk about that as well. And of course, you heard about political alignment and realignment, the issue of people crossing over. I'm sure you heard that. We're going to talk about that. Are they crossing over with some serious commitment, with seriousness, or maybe it's because maybe Unity Party is the ruling party of the day? And so we also heard our own man who's always regular on this program, Representative Smo Molba. I want to say he also crossed over. We don't know against what backdrop, but we'll be talking about that tonight. Are the SOEs not really contributing to the budget? Because when you're in that news, you know, when did it start? Is it during this administration or the last administration of former President George Weah, or is it the administration of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf that the SOEs will not contribute to the national budget? Is it true that they are not? We're going to talk about that also. You know, a stalwart of the ruling Unity Party, Wilmon Pay, the man who was recently dismissed from the Lands, Mines, and Energy Ministry. You know, he went on his Facebook page and did a long letter. He said some stuff in his posts. In fact, alleging that there are some individuals who don't have the party at heart. They've now taken over. You know, while those who were the key individuals, or those who are the key individuals, key members who struggled, you know, for the survivability of the party, they are now being thrown out when strangers are now taking over. Well, we're going to talk about that as well. Just entering the studio, it's the man Edwin Fambul, and of course, bear with me, it's the man David Benedictus Erasmus Nangwe Tawe. Moses Sandy is already on, I understand. Moses, again, our condolences. I know over the weekend, your eyes and the eyes of other family members were very teary, you know, especially with the wakekeeping and all of that burial. And our condolences again, Moses. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you, Sava. Let me say hats off to all of you in studio. It's a pleasure to be back. Yeah, man. The weekend was a difficult time for my family and
I know.
but we are grateful. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we are hearing you. We are hearing you, Moses.
Yeah, I'm saying that it was indeed a difficult time for my family and I, but we are grateful to keep afloat. Thank
Yes, I
you.
know. I know,
Yeah.
Moses. Our condolences again to you. And let me welcome David Benedictus Erasmus Namutawe. David, welcome to the program as well.
Yeah, thank you, Saba. It's always a pleasure to be here. I thought Moses would have rested to the fact that he's bereaved.
No, Moses. Give me the distance. Moses is very committed, and I always like Moses to be present on the program.
Traditionally you move for at least 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah, but the man is in America. They don't observe tradition. Okay, let me welcome Edwin Famula. Edwin, welcome to the program.
Thank you, David.
Not David, he's you want to transfer my name to Saba.
Thank you, Mr. George. I want to say again to add my voice to you to say our condolences to Brother Moses. And even for me, we had a very unfortunate event during the course of the week. On Friday we had a fire incident at my paternal grandfather's house.
Wow.
A property that stood for more than 100 years.
Wow.
Got burned in less than 10 minutes.
Amen.
Yeah, but anyway, we thank God that there was no life lost.
Okay.
Yeah, so
No
we're good for
fatality.
that.
Okay.
No fatality.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We thank God at least. Let me welcome Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy, welcome to the program.
Thank you. I want to say my sympathy to Mr. Sandy and family, and also to Mr. Famula for the burning of their property.
Yeah.
The Obas Girls building.
Yeah.
It's one of those many buildings, when my family brought the Obas Girl back home.
Yeah.
At time I was in the media with Daily Observer when there are many days to cover. And I so much love the way they try to keep the
history
of that particular building. Not that they know how the resources to break it down and rebuild, but they maintain it as it was built many years ago. Fortunately, fire got it and it got burned down. I'm sorry for that, Mr. Famula.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, man. Sorry. We're hoping that whatever the cause can be prevented in time too. Okay, so gentlemen, tonight, like I said, we have about three major.
So, Saba,
Yes, Moses.
if you mind, you can just give me a few seconds. I just want to express my regret to Mr. Family
Yeah.
for the loss of the family's property. Very sorry for the tragedy. I saw the fire and I saw the video, and I was very touched with that. And George and everyone I use talk with, I really appreciate the sentiments, the words of condolence expressed. Thank you so much, and thank you to Mr. Family.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so gentlemen, Moses, thank you. 10 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's try to get into the discussion. The big news over the weekend and continuing as well has to do with the Unity Party. Over the weekend, the party held its homecoming. It's much publicized and homecoming. And of course, we saw crowd, we saw political alignment and realignment and all of that. We got videos to that effect. We're going to play the videos and then we're going to do our own analysis. And then the second discussion, are SOEs really that contribute to the budget? Because, we're hearing that. In fact, the noise continuing to be on Capitol Hill that some SOEs are not actually contributing. If that's the case, why is that happening? We'll try to discuss it tonight. If that continues, how is it going to affect the budget, whether it will or not? Because the SOEs, they are very powerful institutions like the LPRC, the NPA. If they will not contribute, is it something that been happening before, or is it under this administration that's happening, or did that happen under the administration of former President Weah or former President Ellen Johnson? We're going to talk about that. tonight, and I'm sure we all are quite aware of a Facebook post rather that was released by a stalwart of the ruling Unity Party, former Lance Minister, Woman Pay, in fact, alleging that some individuals have crept into the party. Those who didn't help with the struggle, they are now there, and those who, in fact, struggle to get the party where it is now, those who have been thrown out. And so we look at that as well as to what really triggered, what he's saying. We look at that as well tonight. But in the meantime, gentlemen, as tradition dictates, let me ask you first, Mr. Tagwe, what is it that you have on your mind, apart from the three major discussions, what's been trending on your mind?
Thank you once again, Sabot. And I have a serious observation that many young people spend a lot of time at gambling centers. Most especially at the time they sort of be prepared to go to school the next day. I mean, for example, Sunday evening I made a stop by, out of curiosity. And sometimes I like to be inquisitive to see some things. So I made a stop by at two of the gambling centers, most especially the football thing. I mean, the winners.
You didn't go there to participate?
No, actually, no. I don't gamble. So
Okay.
I don't gamble. I just like to see it
Okay.
and look at the faces of the young people and determine their ages. 18, 17, 15, 18, 20, 19. Some of them had their ages because they want to enter the place. And you see them spend a lot of time in those places when they should be home studying their lessons. And who's responsible? Government wants to raise revenues, and so government has given a lot of time, not necessarily this government. The issue of gambling centers like the winners and the other groups. I mean, these are companies that have been existing, gambling companies that have been existing since the days of Madam Sirleaf. And so, but they're having a serious negative impact in terms of the education of the young people who should be preparing themselves for tomorrow. As I speak to you, if you leave the air now and you walk down the streets and enter into one of the winners' place, see the young people in line waiting to play. The machines, some of them even when their parents entrust them with their tuitions, they use them to bet as to who will win the next game and all that. And so, I mean, I think there's something for government to look at critically and not necessarily shutting down these companies because maybe they are major sources of revenue, but to put, perhaps put some restriction one way or other. I don't know how do we do that. I mean, to prevent many young people spending their time. Perhaps maybe one government can say, look, we don't want to see people of the ages of school-going kids at gambling centers from Monday to Friday. Saturday is okay. But Sunday to Friday, no.
Okay.
Something like
that. Well,
that.
thank you. I think you have a very interesting concern, a genuine one as well. There's a need for our government to intervene because our young people, especially, some of them, you see them in uniforms. They go to those places to gamble, and that's totally unacceptable. Let's hear from you, Mr. Fambo. What's on your trending apart from our major discussion?
Yes. So back to this same incident of this fire outbreak. We've been seeing the occurrence of fire outbreaks in some of these communities. In fact, after the incident on Ashmore Street on Saturday night, there was a huge fire outbreak within the iron factory area. So when you look at the current budget, the allocation for the National Fire Service is around $2.something million. And I think now that the budget is before the legislators, they have to give some consideration to these institutions, because these are critical institutions in our country. When you look at the way in which most of the people who are now building don't even adhere to the zoning laws and stuff. I just saw a communication for the Ministry of Public Works the other day asking that people should get permit before they construct buildings. Also, these things need to happen, because when these outbreaks, when there are these kind of emergency incidents, the fire service guys or the people who are supposed to get in there to help cannot help. And then at the end of the day, life is lost, property damage, and other people get, affected. So the Ministry of Public Works has to now put their foot down, make sure they open the alleys, make sure they stick on this whole issue of getting the permit before you do it, before you do any construction. And also the national legislature have to now look at the budget for the National Fire Service to say, look, these are service delivery institutions that don't get paid for what they do, because when you guys go quench fire, nobody paying them for it. And then again, also, we need to enforce the law that make sure that every household keeps some kind of fire extinguisher in the homes also, because these are the first measure to take if there's an outbreak before you can even call in the fire service guys also.
Yeah, I think you have a genuine concern. There's a need for our government to intervene so that we can address this sort of major concerns that our people do have. Not only you alone. I'm sure if you did a census or a survey, many Liberians will share what you just spoke about as well. Let's hear from you, Mr. Kennedy. Anything trending on your mind?
Yeah, those still unconfirmed. We trying to follow stories from some entities or government. We're hearing that some of them, they were holding NASCOP funds for employees that has to do with the future, the retirement future of employees, are not being remitted as it was in the past. The past administration records available to us showed about 5 years, good number of years, they didn't remit with NASCOP. That led to some of the institutions ended up paying up to $9 to $10 million in the current administration. So if any institution of government is involved in such, I think the rightful step should be taken for those money to be remitted, because it has to do with the future, the retirements of staffers, of public employees, including private entities themselves. Some of them will hold the money and they cannot remit to NASCOP. I would like to recommend that there should be a law enforcing NASCOP to actually publish maybe quarterly institutions that have not remitted or are not remitting, so that the public will know, so that even the executive, the president will be aware to mount pressure on them. If there is no law and if there is a law, they have the authority, they should do it, because when people retire, when they go home, they're sitting home, they should be able to have access to what was deducted from them when they were working. It's very important to that. Another thing is also, I'm concerned about the continuous rivalry between the people in our art and culture sector, the musicians, gospel musicians, including they call it secular musicians. Good number of them, like they're fighting each other in sort of, fighting to promote, themselves, but they're in war with. They're at war with each other. I thought that they should come down and try to be, most of them have not reached that far to create a kind of tension that in the U.S. and the East Coast, West Coast isn't. We haven't reached there yet. They are doing well. I think they could come together and then work together. But gospel sector, look at Calvin Gaines, Adams. I saw Ambassador Maron can say all the best people, when they join together to produce, songs. The public going to be happy when they're going to run. So some of those things I wonder, just details may be coming, but I think it's necessary for them to unite for the common good of the country instead of battling each other. So.
Yes, I think I agree with you. We need to do exactly what you just said. But gentlemen, I think the the aspect of what is of interest to me tonight, has to do with the way we we do politics in this country. Uh, you don't, and it's happening basically among some of our media colleagues. Some of the invectives that they used, especially talk show hosts. In the morning, we often tune to various stations to listen to some of the way our colleagues, and some of the things they say, and some of the words they use, some of the language. I don't know again whether it is not of interest to the press union. Or I don't know whether the press union follows these, talk show hosts, or is it that the union is so toothless to the extent that it has no capacity or no ability to bring people to book, especially because the press union should be able to help to refine what goes on the airwaves. Our kids listen to the radio in the morning, uh, you know, and I don't want to start any instance.
No,
You
it's
know,
not.
so you know, so Peter Paul wouldn't think that I'm trying to get at him, or
They
Mary
know
Brown wouldn't think I'm trying to.
themselves. Yeah.
But it's troubling. Look, you can decide to support a political party as a journalist. It doesn't mean that because you are against party A, and so when you are speaking about party B, you should be so unprofessional in doing so, using invectives, calling even the president, calling him name that you shouldn't. And I don't know what are some of our colleagues. They do have that culture, because if you are well cultured, even if you don't like the president, the fact that he's the president, in addition, the fact that he's older than you, he's older than your father, maybe even your grandfather, you should, lend him that respect. But when I listen in the morning and begin to hear the way some of our colleagues speak in the morning, it troubles me. And I don't know whether the press union is not aware, or the union is aware.
The press is a word suburb. I think if the president of the press union like working better address it, but in my view, the press union is toothless.
who are highly professional don't want to go to the press union because the press union is just a backing door. The doors are back. The press union Liberia doesn't have the authority to reprimand any media houses or any media house or journalists.
Even the president, if the president does have the teeth to bite, and start to take those rigid actions against media houses that they think are unethical, state will be concerned that the government is passing through or influencing those decisions by the president of Liberia. So it's something
But it
that's that's what.
But
It would be clear at that time.
So are you saying,
But
Dave,
it is the media regulating itself.
Dave, are you saying that we should just leave an exam?
No. I'm not saying
We
that.
can find a way to address it,
It would be seen as a media regulating itself.
and not the government.
Yeah, not the government, because the evidence will be shown that this person is breaching the code of ethics of journalism. And that's why the PUL that time will be using.
So that is. Are you suggesting that the licensing of journalists or media houses should be the prerogative of the president of Liberia and not the government,
Well,
not the information ministry?
The licensing could be the information ministry, but before you can get licensed by the government of Liberia, the president of Liberia must have clear you and recommend you. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And that's what happens in other countries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, let's try to get into our discussion quickly.
Moses or online, I don't know.
Moses, are you on?
Yes, I'm here, sir.
Okay, I thought you wanted to weigh in on what we're talking about concerning the way some of our colleagues, behave, especially, abusing the airwaves by using invectives and calling out people names and even to extend, that sometimes.
Yeah, let me wait. Let me wait. Are you hearing me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, let me weigh in quickly on that. Unfortunately, the role of the press union when it comes to enforcement of ethics or ethical principles in the media, all the union can do is to convene regular meetings of editors and talk to them and say, hey, we have concern about some of your contents. But when it comes to ensuring that people are doing the right thing, that falls within the scope of media managers. If you are the station manager at LBS and you choose that, hey, you're always going to misrepresent the truth, the president of Liberia will have limited or no control over that because the management team is not answerable to the press union. So you can you can set all the standard. You can set all the standard, unless the media entities themselves are falling in line with that. You can do little or nothing, and unfortunately, that's the situation that we have. I would not want to listen to anyone using profanity at a public official, even if you disagree with the people. But that's the media that we have today. The media has been infiltrated by politicians. The media is being used for the wrong reasons. So you see all these ethical transgression. So many of us, when we were growing up in the media, we didn't see that, even though there were times things were bad. But the level at which ethical transgression has taken in the media, you guys can better speak to that because you're in the country. But I don't think that is what David Tagbe, myself, you, so much George, and the others.
No, not at all.
George, we didn't see that. We didn't see this kind of thing happen. And it's just a very unfortunate situation. Again, when the Ministry of Information chooses to say, "Hey, we're not going to give you a permit," the very media people will get in the street to say there's violation of press freedom, encroachment of press freedom, and all those kinds of things. People will start coming up with it. Unfortunately, that's the society we have. And quickly, two things I want to talk about. Just what I got on my mind. I'd like to piggyback on what Mr. Family said regarding the situation of the fire disaster at his family's home. And then even what George talked about regarding the SOEs and companies
They generate money, that take taxes, that deduct taxes from the employees, with the intent of transmitting those money to the agency responsible for pension benefits. What I would like to say regarding that, Mr.
I think it's one of your
Kennedy, is
topics,
that
right? It's one of the topics.
one of one of our greatest problems we have in Liberia is a failure to uphold the rule of law. All SOEs supposed to be complementing the effort of
Oh,
government.
okay. I understand. Moses, let's
Yes.
hold you there.
Yeah,
It's
go
part of
ahead.
our discussion. Let's hold you there.
Oh,
Let's hold you there,
okay.
Moses. Yes, it's part of the discussion.
And
So
okay, so let me
when we get
stop
to
there.
that,
Yeah, let me stop there, and then quickly let me say, I'm just concerned about the vicious cycle that we see in Liberia. Today, when you are the ruling party, everybody can troop into you pledging political support. When you are off the political stand, then they turn their back on you and go to the next person. The political instability, the inconsistency of our politicians. This is something that really
Moses,
bothers me.
that's also part. Moses, Moses,
Alignment.
yeah, that's also
Yeah,
part of the
thank you.
discussion. Yeah, we'll talk about
Okay,
that. We'll talk about that in
okay,
details. Okay, so let's
okay.
play part 2 of the video that we have. Crowd view of the UP homecoming. Let's play that first.
Pat.
All right, so gentlemen, let's begin on this note. We saw, I'm sure some of us didn't attend the program physically, but we saw live videos and all of that about the much publicized ruling unity party homecoming. Let's hear from each of us. What did you see concerning turn up? And because it's quite necessary. There's absolutely no way we can discuss this vault of the attendance of individuals, partisans, and supporters who went to the program. Let me begin with you, Mr. David Tabwe. If you didn't go to the program, maybe you had an idea again, as usual. You say that you have an idea, but what did you see online concerning the turnout?
Well, the turnout to me is reminiscent of what we saw during the 2023 campaign.
Okay.
Huge crowds, and so it is not an unusual phenomenon that a political party or Colorado campaign and you see such mammoth crowds. So it's something not unusual. But the translation of those crowds into votes is what is pivotal or important to all these political parties. We've been in a crowd competition for quite a long time, and sometimes you think this party put up the biggest crowd, and at the end of the day, the votes don't sometimes go in favor of these crowds. And we saw that during the 2023 election. And another thing you mentioned in the topic is that what message does it send to ahead of 2029? For nearly 2 years now since the Unity Party has been in office, many are applauding the Unity Party for development initiatives, most especially the rules and other things. On the other side, there are others who continue to place emphasis on the issue of brain bottom, no jobs, no money. The people are hungry. They could be insinuations or they could be facts. But if you look at the crowd in Georgia or comparing to what we're hearing about the issue of difficult times, I mean, the issue of bread and butter, the government hasn't addressed the issue of bread and butter, the issue of joblessness and the increase. But the crowd that we saw on Saturday, in my view, dismisses all these claims about the lack of jobs. They are in jobs. But the fact that such a huge crowd that can be compared to the 2023 campaign crowd, then that means that I mean the crowd is telling you that look, in the midst of all these concerns, many concerns which are also legitimate concerns, I mean there's light at the end of the tunnel, and that, in my view, that what must have influence social crowd. And another thing is that what message does it send? The message it sends to the opposition is that yes, we're talking about crowd or all the criticisms, no jobs, but yet and still, these are thousands, several thousands, if not millions of people.
So let me hold you there. So in another word, you are saying that the crowd, the number of people that attended that UP homecoming, it's just a dismissal of all the concerns and claims about lack of
the concerns, though legitimate, but the crowd say, look, we're turn out because we've seen light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay, let me go with that. Ed, let's see.
What I think in the normal political play in Liberia, we'll often see those crowds when either of the two political parties step out there to say, well, they're having a homecoming or they're trying to rally to, get funds. But again, it's a testament of the governance structure of the ruling, the party. Equally so, the party has been blessed for the past 2 years. They've not been tested as with the CDC. In the first 2 years of the CDC, there were numerous protests. There were numerous campaigns that actually started to lower the enthusiasm of the population on the way the CDC was being governed. You were here for the June 7 step down campaign. We've not seen that happen with this government over time. So they have had a very good space within the past 2 years, almost 2 years now, to be able to operate. And also what they was able to do, it was to build this euphoria around this whole homecoming, and that's actually the soul, because counties started having their own in Salos, and then Monserrado, which is the most populated county, decided to do theirs on Saturdays. So a lot of people, yes, trooped into that particular space.
So then what message does it send?
Some were sympathizers. The message that is sent out there is that the United Party is still a force to be contended with come 2029. And with President Bouaka at the helm of that particular ticket, it's going to be a very uphill battle for the opposition political party.
Okay.
If they do not start to work now.
Okay. Josh, let's hear from you if we can go to Moses.
I saw resilient people in spite of the challenges. Even the president, every time, even his speech at the rally, they said his intention is to work hard to make sure that young people get economic opportunity. He's repeatedly said that, but in spite of the challenges they are faced with, they turn out there in their mass. They showed to not only Liberians, not only to the opposition, they show to the world that they support this government in spite of the challenges. They were sending message to the world, the rest of the world, that if you get any hands, help, because these people are real. I was not only looking at the crowd that went there speaking to the opposition. I was looking at the message that the support that they went to give to the 81-year-old president, that we back you. So they were speaking to the rest of the world that, look, we back this leadership.
We still affirm our support for it.
Please.
Okay, let's hear from you, Moses.
Yeah.
We played a video and you saw the multitude of people that attended the program. Let's hear from you, Moses.
Yes, I saw the videos, even though I was between funeral. But as a media person, I religiously follow happenings in Liberia. I saw the videos, but I would like to come from a different angle on this. You talk about what we saw in 2023. You cannot judge the success of any political party by the tenor of people that you see at an event. There are several reasons why people go to those events. Some, peer pressure. Friends telling them, hey, my man, come, let's go hang out. Some have the personal agenda. Oh, well, you know what? I will hang with these people this way and it will me get a job. Some, look, my man, I will transport you. And there are several other reasons. So it will be hasty. It will be hasty for anyone to conclude that because you saw scores of people, that imply that all those people have gone to pledge political loyalty. No. Most of those people went there for different reasons. Yes, the turnout was impressive. We can applaud the UP for pulling the number. But I'm not really carried away by crowd. I'm carried away by substance, what you are doing as a government. Yes, the government is making progress, but the government is also challenged, and the government is also in the wrong on a lot of things. Rule of law, the fight against corruption, the government is failing on that considerably. So let us not be hasty to conclude that, oh, well, come 2029, it's going to be an uphill tax. No, it is too soon for us to say that. Let me stop there.
Okay, thank you, Moses. Thank you very much. Let's while the Unity Party was holding its homecoming, this incident occurred. We saw police, in fact, there was a write-up done by journalists. Police deployed around the CDC party headquarters, in fact, in a way to prevent what could, end up into a clash. But despite that, we still heard about some clash between supporters of the CDC. And let us try to get a video quickly and watch what happened, and then we can discuss whether this was necessary, especially when the CDC, the Coalition for Democratic Change, had heard repeatedly that the Unity Party was planning its program to be held on the 6th of December. And one who sing that, political pundits who sing that, the CDC, having heard and known that the Unity Party was planning and was planning its program and would have executed the program on the 6th, there was no need for the CDC organizing another program. Political pundits would have they'll put it that way, that whatever the clash, maybe the CDC might have provoked what happened. But let's try to see the video and do our own analysis from there to hear from all of you whether that was quite necessary.
live from the Unity Party headquarters, and we are experiencing a bit of commotion following the arrival of the Deputy Speaker, Thomas T. Fala, and this is causing a very serious tension here. And as you can see, all of the journalists have been forced up on the podium. This is not showing a very good sound. This is not showing a very good sound for the party as a ruling party. All of the journalists have been pushed, and this is not a very good sound. I think officials of the Unity Party need to talk to their partisans so that they can behave orderly. As you can see, this is what is currently going on here. They are shopping us. They are shopping us, and today happens to be their most publicized December 6th homecoming and their fundraiser drive. So I'm coming to you live from the Unity Party headquarters in Odious, Congo Town. You are seeing it for yourself. You are seeing the commotion. You are seeing the commotion that is currently ongoing within this particular area.
Okay.
So this is what happened
Let's
here.
hold it. Gentlemen, like the commentator was saying, the commotion started when Thomas Fala had gone to attend the program. I don't know where his boys, maybe who are all seditious, he took them along, or they went there to prevent him from attending the program, or whether it was something organized by him. But let me hear from you, David, especially when the CDC had heard that and knew that the Unity Party was holding its homecoming on that particular Sunday, which is the 6th, for seditions again to go to the site, and at the end of the day for the commotion to spark. How do you think it would have been prevented? Because according to the commentator, the commotion started when Thomas Fala made his way there.
The first thing is that both the CDC and the Unity Party, as the biggest political parties in Liberia, they have a very important role to play in terms of maintaining peace and stability here in Liberia, so that we cannot go back to where we come from. Look, quite recently, the CDC pulled a crowd. They had announced that they were breaking ground, for their new headquarters. And that publicity was done for almost 1 month, a little over a month. And on that particular day, there wasn't any sign of any group of Unity partisans who had a counter program or another program to have disrupted the CDC's groundbreaking ceremony that also brought out a mammoth crowd. So as you put it, like on the day of the Unity Party, I understand the Unity Party fundraising rally would have been nationwide, nationwide. But on the scene we heard that CDC were, having some rally in Bassa and Bon County, when in fact the public was unaware of such a program on the part of the CDC. So I mean, to me, it was quite provocative on the part of the CDC.
Do you think what happened? Let me ask you, Edwin. Do you think what happened should be attributed or should be blamed on Thomas Fala? Because apparently those guys who went there are followers of Thomas Fala.
No, that was coming to that soon. So can you silence me?
Quickly.
Yeah, on the issue of Thomas Fala. Thomas Fala, as you know, Sabo, has been a very, very committed member of the Congress for Democratic Change, the ruling Congress for Democratic Change. You know the role. Kennedy knows the role. Mr. Famila knows the role that Thomas Fala played in the city, most especially during the election hearing period. No one had thought that Thomas Fala would have crossed over to the Unity Party. So it even took the CDC people aback that Thomas Fala would have somersaulted in such a manner. It hurts, right? It hurts. So in fact, they are calling an ingrate. So apparently, the seditions must have shown up on Saturday to have prevented him from entering. But Thomas Farah is a mature person, responsible person. In fact, I understand you were suspended from the CDC or expelled from the CDC. So if you expelled the man from the CDC, he needs to find a new home. And he decided to join attend the Unity Party program or join the Unity Party on that day. So there was no need for seditions to have shown up on that particular day. If something had happened, in my view, the CDC would have taken that blame. And besides that, it was the role of the police to be there to prevent anything from happening. And another thing I'd like to briefly comment on, if you listen to the journalist, the commentator, you could sense the sentiments in his commentary. For example, the first thing we're wearing there, I can say all of us around the table wearing there, right?
I was there.
You were there.
Right there.
What are those reporters, the journalists who are covering that particular occasion were well identified is one thing. And besides that, as a journalist, if you're covering such a program, such a crowd, if you're going to cover such an occasion, you have to be strategically positioned. You don't put yourself in the middle of the crowd. So if the crowd is being controlled and you find yourself in the midst of the crowd, quite frankly, somebody got to push you. People got to push you.
Okay. All right. That's a part of the journalist. That one is on the journalist.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to, want us to figure out whether that commotion at the time was necessary or not.
No, it wasn't necessary.
And who should have prevented it? Was it the Thomas Farah? Because according to the reporter, Thomas Farah, when he arrived, it was when his boys and some guys from the CDC started,
So the question goes to how would have Thomas Farah prevented that?
Okay, let me hear from the admin.
So for me, I would look at it from a different lens, because when Deputy Speaker Thomas Farah crossed over, he said he was coming to the United Party with all of his supporters. Some of
Falasians.
Yeah, some of which were within the CDC. So at that decision-making point, they were no longer affiliating with CDC because Thomas Farah has been expelled from the party. So they were now coming over to join the ruling Unity Party. Now, I think what happened that day, it was because of the crowd. And there was no proper crowd control put in place at that moment. So that because I heard even the vice president got it difficult to get to the stage. People have to be, begging the crowd, please put aside. And even other dignitaries that came in, even the president convoy to go through that crowd, it was so difficult. So I don't want to blame it on them. Now, what I saw the CDC actually almost like provoking the whole homecoming stuff was when they announced that they were going to be doing a cleanup campaign and they're going to come out at the same time. So I think there was some deployment made by the director of police, to the CDC party headquarters. And then also like what David talks about the event that they had in Bond County with Senator Nathaniel McGill. I think these things are unnecessary. And it shows what is now sending a signal that if we do not start handling these things properly, come 2029, there will be a lot of clashes between these two parties. Because, again, mind you, the two party headquarters are just thrown away from each other. The new party headquarters that is being constructed is within the same Congo Town vicinity. It's just, 5 or 6 minutes walk. So now the relevant authorities needs to start looking at it and start putting in the requisite mechanisms. If not, 2029, there will be serious problems.
Okay, let's hear from you. You were on the scene, that you said, and you saw how the commotion or the tension started.
We just spoke about how journalists are behaving in this country. And what I saw, I don't even want to believe that the hierarchies of CDC gave instruction to 10, 11 men, because I checked them. All right, they were standing, they got the CDC, the blue fence with the zinc, Then again, alley going down the hill there. I don't know, but I don't think the CDC will give
approval
to 10, 11, less than 12, 15 people to stay in the way of tens of thousands of people. That's where, if I were reporting from there, I would have underscored for the number of them, this and that, to see what was happening. What really happened was, the 10 or 11, less than 15 people were stopping people from going down the alley. They wanted to use the alley to go to how they call it, Ala Lagoon and other places. You got the alley going down. So when you stay long on the road, you want to go down to some of the entertainment places down there to rest. So they said nobody should pass out their party headquarters. That's why I let that. That's what happened. I was standing right there. They said nobody should pass their party headquarters.
The CDC headquarters.
So the alley is there.
Okay.
I'm surprised the reporter did not capture what really happened, but he said people come from the ruling party. You know what? It was unfortunate, and that's how I'm so thankful to the police. The police went there, and they were able to put the situation under control. And later on, the police left. I walked down the new Ministry of Health, down Congo, and I walked back up to see what happened there. And nothing happened. The place, can't return. It's not police with it, yes, but it's not because of Tamafala arrival.
Okay.
Really,
as the reporter
indicated.
Moses, let's hear from you, your perspective. Mr. Sandy?
Yes,
let's hear from you.
Based on the information that George provided, I would say that if that's what actually happened, then there was no need for that. There was no need to go and try to disrupt the gathering of the UP folks. There was no need for that. We have to learn to coexist. What I would differ with is that if the proximity of the events are not closer, we should not prevent people. Take, for example, what I'm saying is that this guy was in Bone County this week. I don't think anything was happening in Bone County because the event was focused on Monrovia. So if Nathaniel McGill went there and his people honor him, and that did not cause any problem, I don't think anyone should say, oh, well, people should not do that. The only time it becomes an issue if news proximity. When you have proximity, tension, and that's what you saw happening, and the police had to intervene. I would like to stop there.
All right. So I think what happened, like Kennedy said, it was not something approved by the hierarchy of the former ruling Congress of Democratic Change.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was just some group of young men who were bent on causing some havoc that day.
That's right.
So we're hoping that it is not blamed on the hierarchy of the city.
If it was so, the resisting crowd for them would have been more than what I saw there. Frankly, it was risky for those guys to have done that.
Okay.
Yes, it was very risky, and I really, really thank both the Unity Party people and the police, especially the police, for getting involved quickly. And,
Okay, so gentlemen, let's go into another. Yes, we will play the video concerning the president's remarks, but let's hear from someone's father when he attended the program. What did he say? Let's try to get a video quickly to play.
We are here for this, but we are here. We'll keep it, but we are here. Wherever you are, when you please come and call it. During the year, people, all independent colleagues that believe in us. Even my former colleagues, I got Solomon Cross, I got William Duncan, MLC Kamala, Operators are colleagues. Permission, please allow my colleagues, former and current, to come here. Lydia, and we are here in one group of people will be preparing for them. And another group of people have come to lend support. That's why they were elected. So if they are well taken care of, some of them can change their mind. Let me go one step further, Mr. President, Mr. Vice President. One solid police, one company. Some company. Please. Come on, man. This is probably anywhere you be there. Yeah, we have a bossy general. We have come on behalf of us to our local county chairman, $5,000 United States for local county.
So, gentlemen, we listen to Thomas Fowler there. And let me begin with you, Moses, on this one, before Edwin Fambule. The man, Thomas Fowler, is someone who is deeply and profoundly associated. In fact, his name associated with the former ruling CDC. Thomas Fowler used to be, you understand, a plank seller. You understand. Later on, he came close to former President Weah, and through that friendship and his relationship with former President Weah, he became the Thomas Fowler that we know today. Before the Unity Party emerged or came to the fore in the presidency, Thomas Fowler was being referred to as Tifa. In fact, many of the Unity Party folks at the time were very critical of him, and in fact referred to him a lot of ways, because they saw that he was so close, and he was one of the strongest figure in the former CDC, and bulk of what he earned, he didn't get it, didn't get it well, and so they had that sort of mindset about him. Now, this is Thomas Fowler who had finally crossed over to the ruling Unity Party. Moses, did it come to you as a surprise? And if not, or yes, what could likely happen, concerning his whole political career in the future ahead of 2029? Let's hear from you, Moses.
Look, so what I stated earlier, the political inconsistency of our politician. Thomas crossing carpet does not come as a surprise to me. Like you read the indicator, the UP executives, even President Joseph Yuma Boakai, then when he was a candidate, they all campaigned. They vilified Thomas Fowler. This guy was labeled as one of the most notorious criminals in the CDC. He was vilified. Today, when did he become a saint? That now the UP is laying a carpet for him. When did this man become become a saint? This is what happens in our country. That's what I was talking about. This is a vicious cycle. If people, they have no, our politics is not about philosophy. It's not about idea. It's not about the good of the country. It's all about what can I get for myself. Today, Thomas Fowler is with UP. This is the man who went to Lofa and campaigned aggressively against President Joseph Yuma Boakai. Now he's in bed. with President Baka. Just give it 2-3 years from now. Let's assume they go to election come 2029. The UP loses. Thomas Fowler will walk away. And this is not unique to Thomas Fowler. The other lawmakers, Taylor from Grand Cape County, this may associated with the CDC. The playbook is there. Look at all of our politicians. They don't stand for anything. Yesterday, Barney Sherman was in bed with the CDC. Now he gone back home. So the question that we need to ask these people, what do they stand for? Is it all about their personal ego or the good of the country? If you don't stand for the good of the country, then we have a problem.
Okay.
People will do everything to say it. Yes.
Okay, let me hold you there, Moses, and go to Edwin quickly. Yes, Edwin.
So the issue of Thomas Fowler crossing over to the ruling establishment, like Moses said, is not unique to a single Liberian politician. It is the nature of almost every Liberian politician. Like the late Kekula Poto used to say, you hang your clothes where the sun is shining. But let us not downplay the importance of Thomas Fowler in the CDC. You know, like he readily said, Thomas Fowler was one that actually gave the United Party the run for his own territory in Lofa County. He was one person that fought this current president when he was a standard bearer of the UP in the just ended 2023 election. So he's a force. Now, I think it was a wrong political calculation by the CDC, irrespective of what happened in this whole speaker saga, to just, let him go like that, and then what has happened now, it has given him more clout and more relevant, because I do not think that the CDC will in any time find anybody as relevant as Thomas Fowler to compete with him in Lofa County come 2029. So losing a person like Thomas Fowler is a blow to the CDC. I can say that, and they know that very well. But again, people in Liberia, politicians don't have conviction as to why they are in certain political institutions. Many of them will just jump, the next bandwagon. So as the party surface out of the ruling authority, the next party come, many of them will come on board. You saw it with some of the lawmakers.
Is that a show of consistency? Is that a show of somebody being serious about his own political future?
Well, many of the politicians in Liberia have not shown any consistency. I think the people who have shown some level of consistency has been the current president, because I know he's been with the party from the inception. Even when he lost the election, he didn't establish new political party. He stays within. I think former President Weah also has remained in the CDC so far. Maybe down the line he might leave to form a new political party. We don't know that. But aside from that, many of the other people, they're not consistent. They see politics as something that they should always be part of the ruling establishment.
Okay.
And that's not
Josh, let us hear from you. Thomas Fowler from the crossover to the ruling Unity Party. How do people see him? This is Thomas Fowler was practically built by the CDC.
Thomas Fowler is one of the smartest politicians in this country.
Well, you have said that.
Thomas Fowler.
You have said that had he not
Thomas
joined
Fowler has
the
been
United Party,
politically consistent in his lifetime since he got in Liberian politics.
He has been what?
He had been politically consistent in his lifetime
Until today.
Okay.
Since
he joined the CDC, during the founding of CDC, he's been there on the CDC expelled him. When he got expelled, he decided to go to a political party that has equal strength or stronger than the CDC, to prove to the CDC that he can fight back. When the election ended in Lofa,
Do you think, I'm coming. Do you think Thomas Farah should be fighting back or should be showing strength, even if you're suspended, especially
He was
showing
expelled.
strength, even
Yeah.
if you're expelled,
Yeah.
especially considering the sort of role or the sort of impact the CDC made to his life?
Frankly, let me say this: in politics, there is no permanency. That we are journalists. We always talk about somebody being consistent. When Colin Powell stayed with the Republican Party throughout, when Trump came, he said he can't work with Trump. He went to the Democratic Party in the United States. We can name plenty of other people there that went other way. But let's talk about Liberia. Liberia ain't go anywhere. We so be consistent. But one of the institutions that protects your power base is a strong political institution. If you are with a political institution, probably they feel that it did something, they suspended you. After since they lift your suspension, it's better than when they expel you. An expulsion of an individual from a political party losses that made that person to lose his political relevance. The only way he can get that political relevance is to go for a cloud, political cloud. And that's what Thomas Fala did.
Okay.
The history, I want to tell you what really influenced Thomas Fala to cross over. The battle for Lofa. The battle for Lofa. People died in that election in Lofa County. And Thomas Fala was at the front fighting against his uncle, who happened to be President Bouaka now. He was able to get the CDC about around 36% of the vote in Lofa. The first time ever. He was able to defeat the current Minister of Internal Affairs, sitting lawmaker, Francis Nimale, nephew to the president, in that district that he is right now, District 1, and won the election. After that election, the traditional people called them back to Lofa to go reconcile. When the reconciliation happened, I don't know what happened within the CDC. He didn't say he lived in CDC, still remained his party. Expulsion came. Anybody that is smart to maintain that seat in Lofa County could behave the way Thomas Fala behaved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dave, let me hear.
Yeah. Let me look at it from a different perspective. I'm just wondering whether this issue of politicians leaving one party to another is unique to Liberia. First thing.
No, it is not.
It's not. If it is not unique to Liberia, then it is not an issue. Because if that is happening in other countries, why should it be strange to us? No. But perhaps it's rampant in Liberia.
Yes.
And this is why it's raising eyebrows. And the reason why it is rampant is that most of the, like in other countries, like the Western countries, most of the people that come to government or seek political, positions are people who are already wealthy, right?
Sure.
Whether they work in government or not.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't care. So they won't jump from one party to another. They're stable because with or without government, they still they are wealthy and can live their lives without even taking a public job, public service job. But in our setting, like the African setting or the Liberian setting, most of the people that who are our national decision makers, now most of them come from indigent backgrounds, very poor background. They didn't have anything. Their only survival depends on public service, working in that area. I mean, being elected, seeking elected positions to the legislature, or seeking to be presidents, wanting to be ministers or assistant ministers, or deputy ministers. So that's the only thing they know to survive. So, I mean, and you remember the old saying by the late Kekura Poto, wherever the sun shines is where you hang your clothes. And it is that parable that is manifesting itself, that continues to manifest itself. Most of the people are thinking, look, if I don't work in government, what do I do? Would Thomas Fala want to go back to selling planks, which is not a bad thing to do? He's being entrepreneurial. It's not wrong to be a businessman. And will a Carol Gray want to go back to Bishop Brook to live there? were these people who come from this kind of,
Gentlemen,
you know,
let me go.
so it is not unique to Liberia.
Okay.
And most of the people, the fact that a political party has seized the power, not in a negative sense, in terms of they have the word seize, is not the appropriate word. Seize means you know, it's a different, you know, it implies different. But when a political party comes to power, the politicians know that look, jobs will be available, will be contested. So the best place to be is to be to the political party that is taking power. And then that's exactly like most of us having self-centered people seeking personal interest. Then you know, the national interest. But Thomas Fala issue is quite unique because he's expelled. He's a politician. He needs to be part of a political family or a political institution.
Yeah.
So if he's expelled, expulsion means that you're not coming back. You're not part of us. So should he, I mean, put aside his political career and stand and sit on the fence?
Now, let me ask you guys, for the sake of the relationship, no, he has or maybe had with the CDC after the news of his expulsion. Don't you think it would have been prudent if the Thomas Farah has sought some reconciliatory effort or talks with the CDC so that it can be reinstated? Don't you think?
To me,
considering, I'm still, I'm coming. Considering, no, I can't hear. I mean, I can't believe you.
We haven't heard that.
No, we haven't heard that.
No, wait.
Considering, you know, the sort of impact that the CDC made actually in his life, brought him to prominence.
So, I know where you headed.
Don't you think it would have been proper, prudent, well enough if he had sought some reconciliatory talk?
So the first thing is that had CDC known that Thomas Fowler played a very pivotal role in the party, brought people to the party, made the party to have won 35% of votes according to Kennedy, or 36% in Lofa. Is the CDC to me supposed to have known the importance of Thomas Fowler, no matter what he must have done, to have carefully or meticulously considered, look at that decision before they are you know?
Are you aware of the background? I come in Moses. Are you aware of the background of the issues or the issue that led to the CDC expelling him? We all were here. We saw how a CDC a stalwart, who was then the speaker, was being booted out. And news broke out that Thomas Fowler was part of those involved. Isn't that enough to take an action against him by a political party like the CDC?
Well, the first thing, it was not the removal of Fanatic Kofa to me had nothing to do with which party you belong to or not. What it was all about was his style of leadership, the issue of ineptitude that it raised, the issue of corruption that it raised.
The question
it impacted all of them, no matter which party you belong to.
No, listen. The thing is, yes, the former speaker had his own issue, but the fact that he hailed from the CDC and Thomas Fowler himself also hailed from the CDC, don't you think that it would have been proper on the part of Thomas Fowler to have supported the former speaker and not to allow the current or his colleagues that were against him to fight him and to remove him? Don't you think Thomas Fowler should have supported the former speaker? The fact that they came from the same
the style I said initially had nothing to do with party one came from. Not only Thomas Fowler was the only opposition political party or politician that opposed Fanatic Kofa at that time. It was his style, Kofa's style of leadership also negatively impacted or affected Fowler. Negatively affected.
Yeah, look, guys, we are heard a lot. Whenever a problem erupts it's good to understand the causation of the problem.
Mhm.
Oh, well, there was no justification for the expulsion of Thomas Fowler from the CDC. But when you are part of a fraternity, you are part of a political party, it means that you stay in support of all members of that group. Thomas Fowler was part of the ploy for Kofa's removal. And so the political party came and said, hey, Thomas, you are one of us. We rely on you. How could you have been a part of a ploy to remove somebody who represents our political party in the House of Representatives? I think it was predicated on that when the party resolved to expel you.
Mhm.
The action taken was to punish him for the crime reportedly committed. So, let me tell you, a lot had to do with Kofa's removal. And Thomas Fowler was deputy speaker. He had significant influence over the other CDC folks that formed alliance with the UP folks in removing Kofa illegally. That's why he was punished. Let me tell you, today's Thomas Fowler, we're talking about, is crossing carpet is justifiable, yes. But give it 2 years from now. Go to election. If the UP loses, Thomas Fowler will cross carpet again.
Okay. All right. Let me hold you there. George, can
So I had to provide this information.
Mhm.
For me, when this team was playing, we follow Thomas Fowler. So hierarchies of the CDC went on radio stations. Thomas Fowler, Solomon George, and others. They said the marching order to remove the speaker came from former President Weah. In the midst of the removal,
Did they say that on the radio?
yes,
Okay.
yes. Pram got a recording of George.
That was politics.
No,
It's not about.
So you don't want to accept that.
I'm coming.
So that other aspect when
No, that was politics.
So
Yeah.
they said the marching order to remove the speaker because the speaker was growing too much in the CDC to overshadow the former president. The marching order was to remove the speaker. Thomas Fowler said, we went in the midst of what we're supposed to do. Then you asked me to retreat when we are already started. I couldn't go back. Solomon George came back to say the same thing about what the same former president we did when it came to the removal of Ellis Tyler and the speaker. Look, I don't know. We'll have a chief justice on the show who can say this one, it was illegal, so we allow it. But the political aspect, the political things that took place, under no condition. Everybody, you should know your strengths and weaknesses in the political party. The United Party, even when they expelled Madam Salif after the 2023 election, they had to go back for her. Are you understand? They expelled her.
So 2017
election.
No, 2017. Was it 2017?
2017, yes, thank you. 2017 election. They expelled her from the party. They sat her. The state went for her. They said, come. And you understand what I mean? Because they knew what they would have lost had they not gone for her. But the CDC, we don't care. We can expect anybody, but they
The question I ask, the fact that, considering the fact that someone's father, they all benefited from the CDC helped make them. Don't you think would have been proper, even if the CDC had said, look, Mama, you're wrong, because if John...
You're not looking at the other side.
No, I'm coming. But no, it's not about the other side. Let me say this thing to you. It's not about the other side. As a human being with your 5 senses, ensure that your conscience should always serve you right.
No, but
I'm coming. All you guys spoke. Let me tell you. Ensure that your conscience should serve you right. If I'm part of a political arrangement, and through that arrangement or through that political institution, I became well known. I became, in fact, one of the millionaires or one of the wealthy individuals in society because of my link with the political arrangement. Even if that arrangement or that political institution got somehow angry with me because of some role I played,
And drive you away.
I come in, my man. Wait for me. You spoke because of some role I played, and he played a role to remove the speaker, like Moses said, to remove former Speaker Kofa, and because of that role, the CDC said no. You can be part of this arrangement, and you join a group of individuals to remove.
Then they actually disproportionate.
Are coming.
They actually disproportionate.
So they
Not
had
expulsion,
expelled.
not suspension.
So if they expelled him, do you think if I were him, considering what I benefited from the CDC, if I had not joined the CDC, we wouldn't have known the TIFA today.
Nobody
Is it
knows.
today? I'm coming. Is it today that the Unity Party is celebrating TIFA? When you name it also,
So you asking me, right?
coming.
But you put it at this, I wonder.
Is it today? So if I were TIFA, I would have gone to seek some reconciliation with my party, even if my party has expelled me.
Okay.
But not to rush to say I'm going to join. Like Moses said, in case tomorrow Unity Party loses the election, what happens to Thomas Fowler? You end up running back to CDC.
No, so slow.
That's what you eventually do.
So you look at
So
it from
I'm
one
coming.
side point of view.
I'm saying, as a human being, have conscience. Dave, you can be nice to me, and at the end of the day, I stab you to the back.
No, when you
Slow up.
I stab you to the back.
Yeah.
Even if this is someone I don't want your friendship, I will continue to still force my friendship on Dave.
No.
Because I know Dave did extremely well for me.
that word
Slow up,
you use,
slow
was
up,
your friendship.
slow up,
No,
slow up.
after years now we have to
Slow
go a
up.
different.
Reconciliations is a two-way street.
After years we have to transition.
Yes.
After his right.
Reconciliation is a two-way street, right? Now, everybody here know that Thomas Fowler tried to reach out. But when you have,
How?
Go to
he
the
did,
page.
How?
he did.
Go to the Facebook
He tried to
page.
reach out. No, but this thing.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He
Okay,
didn't. He didn't
so-
try to reach out.
Okay,
So
so
don't say
that,
that.
no,
I
but
can put it right on his Facebook.
Thomas
Come on, can you give me a chance? You just talk here.
No, but don't mess it from our people.
no, I'm not messing with
Thomas
the
Fowler
people.
will not try to reach out.
No, he
and
did.
I come and George we know.
I just we are
That
talking
haven't
about the
come
city.
high. But don't get we're not having him.
So you need to wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you need to also bring another. No, I'll come in now. So then, what do you have to say about Sir Joseph?
But
As well.
was I just expelled?
He left the party because
But he left.
no, he came up and said that's the reason why he left.
So we are
Let me say this.
making trouble, bro. To
I'm coming at you.
They don't like to
I'm coming at
We can
Didn't you listen? Didn't you listen to Sir Joseph when he had his interview?
Comrade.
He said it.
Why did he say?
He said the division within the party and
But
we're feeling the
he was
division.
not expelled.
Oh no! But he decided to win in the lead. Now Thomas Fowler was actually expelled. He reached out. Look, like how the guy said, right? If you sit and watch keenly the path in which the former speaker was trading, even the George Weah that he talks about today, former President Weah, was getting worried. He saw the relationship between the former speaker and the president. The former speaker had traveled with the president.
We're not going to give. Listen.
No.
They are making make up. They are making up.
The president was speaker married to a family member of the president.
No facts. They are
Sorry, brother.
So don't you think it was prudent when the CDC observed that Thomas Fowler was leaning on the side of Walker or the Unity Party? Don't you think it was also prudent for the CDC to call their attention to come, let's stop. We notice that you are leaning on the side of the right. So let's put aside. Let's put aside what happened to us.
You don't expect the CDC to come
Oh, but you expect Thomas Fowler to go to
because he benefited from the party. Let's transition, gentlemen. We transitioning and still having link, to the Unity Party, concerning what we're about to talk about. Because we can't jump on Unity Party and then we'll go to the SOE's issue. You're listening to the Nighttime Heat. Again, you can watch the show online by logging in Nighttime Heat on your Facebook page or your YouTube channel or the Prom FM page as well. Prom FM Monrovia 105.5. You can watch the show online. Gentlemen, the former Minister of Lands and Mines, Woman Pay, that we all know, who was recently dismissed. Woman Pay has been a stalwart of the ruling Unity Party. That one we can deny him of that. I can remember during my days at Star Radio, they had a group, the Youth for Earning Presidency. That was the Gafuan, the Woman Pay, this guy who used to be at Commerce, the Steve Lampay, this is my other good friend. But those guys were the ones who were pushing former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, or were very instrumental in bringing former President Sirleaf to the presidency. Mr. Pay came to the fore when the new Unity Party emerged under the leadership and stewardship of President Boyka. After less than 2 years, Mr. Woman Pay was dismissed. Although no reasons were cited by the executive mansion for his dismissal, but he was dismissed. Mr. P went and did his turning over or departure ceremony. He gave his speech and he left. Mr. P had gone to his Facebook page and released this. I want us to listen to this, gentlemen, and then we can discuss it as well. My homecoming day message to Liberians. On Saturday, December 6, 2025, our party will come out in absolute display of unity for the first time since the Unity Party returned to power in 2024. We are not coming out because the wars of irregularities, injustice, poverty, and bad governance are now extinct. We converge because the internal destiny of this great movement, sanctified by the blood of William Gabriel Pole, Edward Binion Kessley, Jackson Fiado Sr., and others, unite us. This homecoming must unite us not only against detractors, it must unite us against the adulterants and unpatriotic intruders in our midst. Let's listen to this very well. I read this again. This homecoming must unite us not only against detractors, it must unite us against the adulterants and unpatriotic intruders in our midst. These are determined to prevent Liberia from reaching its God-ordained destiny. That is why this homecoming must unite us against the enemies. I'm trying to still connect it. Against the enemies within, who are more dangerous than the opposition. This is the real threat we face. That Woman Pay speaking. They are enemies of the Unity Party. They are more than the opposition. He's still speaking. December 6th is not about politics for the sake of it. No, it's not a day for pomp and pageantry. It's not about arrogance or defiance. December 6th is a recommitment to the bridge, to the pledge we made in 2023, the pledge we made to Liberia. This is not time for show. We are not coming out to boast. We are coming out to reaffirm. Today, we must commit, we must recommit, we must reflect on our journey. We must assure ourselves, reassure our base, and seek to maintain the trust of our people, of all Liberians. December 6th must rekindle hopes, revive the spirit of unity. We must insulate our party against those who want to replace the arrest agenda with their greed. December 6th is certainly not about promoting elitism within our party. Oh no, December 6th is not about those who come when the battle has already been won. The battle was not about them, it was about Liberia. For all Liberians, young and old alike, and not for a few, no matter how powerful they think they are. On December 6th, we must denounce once again, in the loudest voice ever, our stance against AOs, those who have crept in to loot or steal must be stopped right here.
Did you say
And now.
crept? Did you say crept in? The past and creep?
Those who CREPT
Okay, crept.
crept in
Yeah. Okay.
to the crew I went to school.
No. I just want to. I just want to make sure of the. I just want to make sure of the word.
Okay, so I read, why should these folks treat Liberia like this? Why steal from yourselves and think you are being smart? Colluding with foreigners to loot our wealth and force us to beg for and all over
So
the world is wrong.
Moses.
We have all that we need.
Somebody, you don't have to read all that thing.
are coming. We have all we need to build
Most of the
our roads
Yeah.
to increase electricity generation. Okay, so we start there. Gentlemen, the message has been sent. This was written by Raymond Play. He indicated they are enemies of him. He indicated they fought the battle, but right they should be enjoying by now. Instead, there are individuals who are creeping in. In fact, they've already crept in. Let me hear from you, David Tabo, quickly.
I think
Your-
for some extent, he has the right to express how he feels about the situation within the party. Look, even if they are enemies within, some political parties, including the opposition political parties, they also talk about enemies within. There were some people who in the former ruling unit the party who said there were others who blocking them from seeing job. Yeah. So to me, William Pay is sounding selfish. He's sounding selfish. Sounding selfish because the Unity Party, all political parties, even including the Unity Party, they have open doors. Anyone who wants to step in or enter can enter. So I'm more like throwing indirect talks to those who are now joining the unit because they fought the battle. The battle's already ended. There's no need for any other person to come and join. I think it's a little bit selfish.
I hope you know.
I think
I come here.
Yeah. And besides that,
I come in, Dave. I hope you are aware and you know the person that's
I know the person.
I know you know it very well.
I know
Okay.
Woman Pay who is
Yeah.
speaking. And besides that, Woman Pay just lost it just quite recently.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's not something that anybody can feel can feel comfortable with. So he still feels uncomfortable. And all that one could be, characterized, by his statement. And saying that they fought the battle has already ended, suggesting that there's no need for any other person to come and join. To me, it's an indirect, or it's a little bit selfish. It's selfish, yes, of course. All organizations, all institutions, there will always be enemies within. And I would have appreciated him, or maybe the public would have appreciated how they call names of the enemies that are within.
There's a woman pay who and others suspended former President Sirleaf.
Yes, of
You
course.
know him very well, right?
There are others.
A very powerful store. Let me give you that. Powerful store of the world. A guy that has the ability to shift the party. That the name coming about for you, sir? Yes, yeah.
Welcome, Ray.
Yes, so
Yeah, I'm coming.
Most of you coming.
Let me come in.
Is one of the upright and consistent politicians I have come to know in my lifetime.
I like that description. Upright and consistent.
And consistent.
And very powerful as well.
Yes.
Within the ranks of the Unity Party.
It was the likes of the woman Pay who stood up to President Sirleaf when she was president.
Thank you.
That he, Wilmer P., would not support President Sirleaf.
I mean, you don't play with certain people. Anyway, I'll make
contest on the United Party ticket when Robert Sirleaf wanted to contest. It was Wilmer P. who stood his ground. When President Sirleaf was president of this country, he stood his ground and said, I will not do it.
Against a certain president.
He's a guy who is unbending. He has principles in him.
Thank you.
You know, I've read his, in fact, all these things started from even his turnover note. I've read his turnover note.
Okay.
I also read, his positions on the homecoming. And to tell you that he's a guy who stands by his word. Even when he was taken off his job, he still remained within the party. He has issued no discontent about the leadership. He remained consistent. He remained a party steward. And like he said, I'm going to that process because we fought this battle. And let me say this. I think he's 100% right. The president's cycle and the political landscape of the Unity Party has been infiltrated by a lot of different people with different ideology, people who have their own selfish interests that are digressing from what this president sat and campaigned on from day one. When you read Wilmer P. turnover notes, you will start to analyze some of the reasons why he even left the job. There are some things that he put his foot down. I'm not going to do it. He talks about the issue of ArcelorMittal. He talks about where there were people within the system, within the cabinet, that were pushing the interests of foreign people that he stood against and said, look, I will not be here as minister to allow the natural resources of this country to be mortgaged. He talks about the monopoly that was being given to ArcelorMittal. He stood against it. So when Wilmer P. speaks, some of us read it and listen and give it a tear eye. Or
thank you, Brother Edwin. Thank you. I think you got my support today.
Thank you, my dear brother.
Okay, George Kennedy, let's hear from you.
yes, so
No, we are talking about a guy,
The former Secretary General,
thank you very much. I think you know all the former party chair.
former party chair.
A man who was part of the youth for ending presidency.
Mayo,
Small man, yeah.
for whatsoever reasons he was removed, he left and went to opposition. That Cassell's party, he became chairman.
Yeah.
And then he came back.
And then he was put out.
He came back to the party.
And then he came back to the
that's
party.
inconsistency.
Yeah, I wanted to be
That's inconsistency. That's inconsistency.
You spoke.
No,
you spoke.
We say the positive, we also say the negative, and come back to the positive.
Go ahead.
He came back to the party after a lot of negotiations involving some hierarchies to come back. When he came back, he contested on the party ticket for senator of Montserrat County.
He lost.
In 1 month time, he raised a very good number of votes. He didn't win. and he was given the position Minister of Lands, Mines, and Energy, or Minister of Mines and Energy.
Yeah.
I think from his write-up, I think he has something to say. He has something to say. And probably for some professional and ethical reasons,
He don't want to see.
he's holding them back, because I know Mr. Pay very well. He doesn't, I don't know whether he got crew blood in him, but, but he doesn't miss his words. I think he has something to say. One thing that is very good about him is in spite of his criticism of the system, since his return, he remained loyal to the system. And that's who he is, as Mr. Famble was saying. He may sound selfish to, as Mr. Tagbe analyzed.
But why impressed?
Yeah.
Before the battle, the battle ended. Yeah.
He may sound selfish, but his selfishness, in as much as he may sound like that, or if you see as being selfish, is informed by the realities internally that we all need to work on internally. Okay, I mean, that's why I say he has something to say. I don't want him to reach to his boiling point to say a lot of things because I know him, and, but since his removal, I haven't been able to see him. I hope to see him soon. I've been trying to contact him to see him. Those are always open, but we've been mixing. I've not been ready to get to him. But I think some of the things that he underscored in that he's read up, we all should look at it as an institution to see how we can
Unity
work,
Party.
Yeah, how to work on.
You are talking as an insider now, right?
You're talking as an insider. So he's not a perfect being, but I think most of the things that he does, he stands for. He's not perfect, but most of the things that he stands for can be correct.
Okay, let's go there and go to Moses. Moses, let's hear from you.
Yeah,
Moses, kindly unmute.
He's there.
He's off because I don't even see his face this time.
No, he's not there.
Okay, Moses off. Apparently, you come back on now. But this is my thought. Like you said, bulk of what you raised should be, should be
looked into
by the institution. Dave, in every institution, they got people who are very vital. They have the institutional memory.
Like Thomas Fowler with the CDC.
Why they got one put you off? We are talking about women people. Like I said in my intro, Pay was part of those young people, those youth. The youth for Ellen presidency. And because of that, under former President Sirleaf, she managed, in fact, to build the bulk of their capacity. That's the reason why you saw the Gulf serving as Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Finance in one government, because she built that capacity. They brought her to the presidency. These are people who understand the Unity Party very well. These are people who can work to shake the party. They can do it. The Woman Pay, the Gafwa, and the rest of them, they are in the party. These guys can stand up tomorrow to the president. Say, Mr. President, we are proceeding wrongly. Our practices are not happy. This is not what we struggle for. These are people that understand, that know the Unity Party well. So, like my colleague said, George said, what Woman Pay wrote concerning animals within, they need to look at that. Because it's possible there are some individuals who have cracked into that party, coming from maybe NDI and other places and other political parties.
CDC,
NDI.
Yeah, they are collaborating. And they may come on that common pay. Yeah, we can collaborate. But their intention could be to destabilize
So
the
they
unity
are
party.
considered
So it's-
Trojan horses.
Yeah.
surely.
They are Trojan
So,
horses.
they are. So it's possible that that they could have the intention to destabilize the unity party ahead of 2029.
That
It's
could be
possible.
that could be a perception.
As we speak, the CMC is building its membership. The CMC is building its membership, and I'm sure the CMC is looking for people like Wilmer Pay and others.
Yeah.
Yes, it's possible.
He
You
won't
may
go
say
though,
someone
but-
said it yesterday. He made that go,
Yeah.
but it's possible that maybe if the Unity Party hurricane will not gather itself and say, look, let's look into what the guy is saying and see how we can address it. Tomorrow, who knows? I mean, the molecular crossover. Already, Musa Belida has a lot of money. He's willing to throw it around and get key individuals and people who understand the country's political landscape. They said, man, let's try to get Wilmer Pay on our side. That would be detrimental to the Unity Party. It could be detrimental to the Unity Party. So the Wilmer Pay communication, it should be looked into. These are the people that birthed the Unity Party, that brought strength to the Unity Party. These are the people that brought a popularity to the Unity Party when they were used for the early presidency.
The man was given presidential appointment job.
And he did not, and he turned it down.
Rejected.
He rejected it on grounds that that position was very low for him.
Yeah.
So when the guy speaks, I know where President Walker is now. He's trying to put his team together to see how best they can get this Wilmer Pay guy from the sit and talk. Wilmer Pay is not a small political in the party.
He's not a greedy guy. He's not.
No,
He's not a guy who's going to be demanding for a job. He's not the kind of
he's not a
person.
small person.
You know,
He's a member
just-
principal.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, okay, let's try to discuss transition now and talk about the last one. But let's begin with.
So we agree with him.
Because we know Wilmer Pay and the Gafwan and
But the truth time we say. But
So let's begin with the SO. Let's jump to the
SOEs.
SOEs. Yeah, and let's begin with you on that. We've been hearing this whole news that the SOEs are not contributing to the budget, but I don't know. Is it did it start during the last administration or during early time, or is it now that they are not contributing?
I think since
I spoke with the chair, and I think he and I were just chatting. The chair on Ways and Means in the House of Representatives, thinking I would get him. He said tomorrow the SOEs will be appearing again for hearings, so he doesn't want to speak ahead of the.
yes.
So maybe Wednesday we may likely get him.
I think this problem started since the end of the Civil War, because I know, in as much as I was not as old at that time, but SOEs were actually given back to the government. So we have to go into the reasons why these SOEs were created. These are all state-owned enterprises. They are business entity for the government that actually belongs to the state. They are there to provide services that the citizens will be paid for. And then at the end of the day, when they make profits, that profit should be divided between the state and the entity itself to be able to keep it, afloat. But over time, again, the composition of these SOEs have created a lot of problems.
Okay.
And I will say this, it starts from the leadership of the country, the way in which they constitute these SOEs board of directors. Now, the board of directors are supposed to be the corpse of the institution of these SOEs. They sit at the top. The management team, according to corporation law, the management team are officers of the board. So the management team should report to the board. Now, what I've seen over time is that even the board itself is not being respected by the management team, because the management team runs the day-to-day affairs of these SOEs. They're generating money. So they often bypass the board and start having relationship with the executive mansions. Some of them start doing, making friends with people within the cycle of the presidency. Some of them give these people, envelopes or so to make that way through. So at that particular rate now, the respect or the whole supervision from the board level is now diminished. I was opportune to sit with a managing director before, and we're having a normal conversation. And a colleague of mine said, but MD, that's not your decision to say that. It should be coming from the board. And that guy said to us, but who is the board?
Can you imagine?
He said, I make the board. I make decision for the board.
And then also this serving as secretary.
And right there, it dawned on me that so these boards are just constituted
Ceremonious.
to give people jobs and to go and sit there.
They got no teeth to bite.
So until we can start having boards that have responsibilities, that understand the institutions that they are going to serve as board, and that the management team are officers to the board, they are accountable. First of all, the MD should not even be going to the president's office. If the president wants to know anything about that corporation, it should be through the board chairman.
Yeah.
But they don't even respect the board chairman.
Can you imagine that?
The MD can engineer for the removal of the board chairman. He can threaten the board chairman and say, I'll make sure to remove you, because guess what? One of these MDs are maybe close to the first lady, or they're close to somebody close, to the president. So when they threaten you as a board member, guess what? You take your seat and just allow the entity to flow. So we will, until we can solve this systematic problem, these state-owned enterprises will remain the way they're operating. Every year they will come to you and say, we're not making money. But guess what? They're actually making money and deciding how they want to spend those monies.
Okay, Edwin. Not Edwin, but George.
I would not go the way Mr. Samuel
Because you
went.
fear of your job. You
No,
be shot
because-
tomorrow by good management.
No, I work for a
You work for a state enterprise.
I
I don't
do.
know if that's what happened.
Yeah, go ahead. That's where I've been all my life.
No, not Edwin. And you are
I'm not afraid.
All right.
I'm here.
So why you say you're not going to win a medal?
Yes, because he
But
said
then
something
truthful.
that he said he saw.
You want bend the rule down.
No, I haven't seen what he saw.
Go ahead.
What I've observed over time, especially with the SOEs I'm with, is that look, most of these SOEs, they don't have the kind of infrastructure that will even make them more profitable. Even if they are a bit profitable right now, they need the kind of infrastructure that will help them be more profitable.
You sure of that?
Yes. And that is
So
why
if you use the money to build that capacity, that's what you were about to say, right?
you have to build.
We've been doing it for 20 years now.
You
Thank
have
you.
to build.
20 years now, they don't have
If it's been done over
Well,
the 20
they've
years.
done now, that's what I'm saying, 20 years.
If you already, maybe they did it to their place.
No, but I think across board institutions.
No, it cannot be across because they got a lot of SOEs that are suffering from these things. Basic infrastructure. Infrastructure is not just the building. Like the port of Monrovia. The only functioning pier is the one that is concession out. Have you been to the other side, how it looks like?
So that's where the industry structure comes in.
So fine. So if you go to where the concession is not, you wouldn't get a China Union pier. And all of the other areas, you need to build the piers in order for you to be the main area where ports can handle money. You know where? Is cargo handling and the marine services. Where the cargo is handling? It's a landlord. So the best way to do is to generate money to fix the piers. When you fix the pier where you get 3, 4, 5 vessels or even 8 vessels can buy at the same time, you're talking about money.
Let me ask you, Edwin.
So
I come in.
some of these entities.
Edwin,
Okay, I say.
Is it on the book for SOEs? Is it on the book compelling SOEs to contribute to the budget?
You're supposed to, yes, of course. Because
if they are not, like Edwin said, if they are not, then it means that they are violating.
The same
No,
boat
but
the same boats get a condition. If you are profitable.
let me come
It's
back to
not
Josh's
just
point,
that,
right? Let me come back to Josh's point. Let me just piggyback on his point. That's why I say it has to be the structure from the board. Because first of all, what has been the strategic plans of all of these state-owned enterprises over the past 20 years? What has been the operational budget? So when you look at these institutions, right? Some of them have spent over $200-300 million over the past 20 years. What were they doing with those monies? Was it being used to actually develop these infrastructure? If you do audit today on some of these institutions, you will see where some of these money were going. It is not a secret to us. current Senator Bill Troy was at the port. All right. Look, I've been to some of these ports. The Buchanan port is supposed to be one of our major ports that we can also generate money from as the NPA. But you go there, there's no infrastructure. How much money do you need to be able to build that infrastructure? You want to tell me what the past 20 years the National Port Authority hasn't been able to generate that money? But again, it all boils down to the leadership structure within that particular institutions. How do they see it, and how do we want to make it work?
Okay.
Those things are lacking.
You know,
All right, listeners, before Tabo comes in, if you wish to participate, we've gone 3 minutes after 10. If you wish to participate, you can just call us on 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793, or better still, 0886-5050, 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507, or this alternative line 0776 540-987, 0776-540-987. Yes, Tabwa.
they also wrote the Constitution. They know that the SOEs are lucrative government agencies.
Mhm.
And this is why they are legally obliged to contribute to the budget. So if they aren't contributing to the budget, there is a violation. You said 20 years, approximately 20 years, they haven't been contributing to the budget. So where does the money go? I'm even afraid that the matter, the SOEs, their leaderships, and the honestly, the Justice Minister are supposed to meet to appear before the legislature. I hope that we're not prejudicing the ongoing hearings.
They're supposed to be
They're supposed to be appearing. I think it will be at the end of the hearing that we can be able to, because we haven't heard from the SOE, their leadership. We haven't heard from the Justice Minister because quite recently the Justice Minister named him in the picture quite recently that he was blocking.
Okay, yeah.
I think the
LPRC.
the LPRC and all the institutions, and there was something we heard that it would have been a conflict of interest because the Justice Minister is the lawyer. I understand the lawyer of
The
the
story
government.
is, I think the LRA complained that the LPRC was not committing,
Committing.
and so they were planning to take the LPRC to court.
Yeah.
So the story is that
So the SOE
the
can
Minister
be
of
sued
Justice said there's no need for that because that would be conflict of interest.
on his
The both
back.
of you both of you can be part of the same government, and then you take your friend to court. That's the same government going to prosecute another government.
So
But let me give you a striking revelation for FPRC. Do you know FPRC is the only state-owned enterprise that was not created by of the legislature? That FPRC. Did anybody bring you the act that created FPRC?
It was lawfully now turned over to the government.
All right, let's take
business.
let's take Moses on the line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Moses, let's hear from you.
Yeah, look, Jordan got disconnected, man. I was driving, but let me use one stone to kill two birds. I'd like to speak briefly about the former Minister of Energy, Mines and Energy, Wilmer. It's good that Mr. Kennedy was able to really define who Wilmer is. He's not a consistent political figure. He was part of the PLP. When you talk about consistency, you maintain where you are. You can be jumping here and there. That's not consistency. I would say right now, Mr. Pei is better because he's not in the inner cycle. When he was Minister of Lands, when he was Minister of Energy and Mines, did you hear him talk about the UP being taken over?
But Moses, we passed that already. We're talking about the SOEs now.
No, because you didn't have the
I
time.
want to use one stone to kill two birds.
Yeah, but you're not going to stay long on that now. Woman pay is not a small potato. So start with within the unity party. So when he speaks, it raises So your concern.
Yeah. I'm saying that he's angry because he's not in a inner cycle. Now let's move to the SOEs. Look, like other of you have said, I am not a student of business. But when institutions establish or when individuals establish businesses, they do so with the sole purpose of making profit. If you were created 20 years ago and you're still struggling to survive, then you did not exist. There are laws on the board that clearly define the rules of the SOEs, the expectation. So if you are generating money and you're not using the money for the intended purpose, meaning you're not contributing to the economy of the country, you're not contributing to the national budget, that's a problem.
So where does the money go?
And what is happening here is a perennial problem. It's not unique to this administration. When Samuel Doe was president, we saw the role of SOEs. Those SOEs were used to fund other activities. They were not contributing. When Mr. Sali was there, the same thing happened. George Weah, the problem became exacerbated because the heads of those SOEs were never held to standard. And as a country, if we're going to move forward, that's what we call self-appraisal. You look at what is working, what is not working, and you correct it. So the SOEs must be held accountable.
Okay.
They either perform or don't exist.
Period.
All right, Moses, thank you. So, listeners, it is your turn. Viewers and listeners, it is your term. 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. Or better still, 0886-050507. Again, 0886-050507. Tonight, we've been doing an analysis of the Unity Party Homecoming program, looking at the crowds, the political alignment and read alignment. What message does it send to ahead of 2029? We've also been looking at the communication from a stalwart of the ruling Unity Party, Mr. Wilbon Pay, alleging that they are enemies within the Unity Party. And of course, also been talking about the SOEs. So which one you think you want to talk about, you want to weigh in on, you can call on 0778 460-793. Again, 0778-460-793, or better still, 0886-050507. 0886-050507. Or the alternative line, 0776-540-987. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Thank you. Let me say good evening to all of the panelists on the panel tonight. This is Paul William Corey, and I joined this conversation from this committee.
Okay.
Well, that's appreciate all of you. I think the issue of the, writing and saying that I have an enemy within is more dangerous than even the opposition. For me, I may want to agree with him at times because he was with him. But the great thing that I have problem with him is that as a politician, you cannot be scapegoating. You should be laying up to name them. In a long communication, name one or two persons' names so we can know. But when you keep hearing them, then how do you expect to change? Or how do you expect that person to change? Because the public have to mock them, name and shame them, let them do this. Because, look, like, there, it's now a small potato. We agree, but we once left the Unity Party when you were removed and he went to the PLP, they removed again from there. So he never ended up, he came back to the Unity Party and he saw the Unity Party or rank of people. He came second, more than where anticipated to be Kennedy within the most of our countries in the during election. We must take him late. But the Unity Party giving us support and the vote. But I don't think Women can leave the Unity Party. He came to go to another party because if we do that, then I think it will be disaster for we are on a serious note.
Okay. Many thanks. I'm sure another call is on the line. 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793 or 0886-050507. That's the number to call. Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your studio guests, especially my professional colleague Edwin Famole, who work together at the LEC. I'm interested in talking about the SOEs. Why they're not remitting the PIT, the personal insurance tax, like in the case of Money Captain. GSC reports is for something $1 million. I mean, why the government is not moving? This is supposed to be security for the future retirement of the people who will be retired. Once again, I want you to highlight that and want to be for the future. Like, bro, can I keep creating legislation? We know it. I'm going to thank you very much.
Okay. Well, many thanks. 0778-460-793, or better still, 0886-050507, or this alternative line, 0776-540-987. Again, 0776-540-987. That's the numbers to call, and you are live on the Nighttime Heat right here on Prom FM 105.5. Again, 0778-460-793. We've been talking about the Ruling Unity Party home accounting program. I'm sure you have all attended, or we saw some video footages. We spoke about the issue of the crowd, the political alignment and realignment. What message do they send ahead of 2029? Also, been talking about the communication from Mr. Wilmer Pay. He said, well, there are enemies within the Ruling Unity Party. And of course, those enemies are more than even the opposition. So it's something serious. We talked about that, and also been talking about the SOEs, whether they are not remitting, their share to the national budget. If so, why are they not? We've been talking about that as well. I'm sure time has come of us, but I just take a few calls again. 0778-460-793, or better still 0886-050507, or better still 0776-540-987. That's the alternative line. And of course, you are live on the Nighttime Heat. Let's take this call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Good evening, dear brother.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. My name is Emmanuel Corey, and I'm the vice chair for Indoor Party Affairs in the lecture class of Mosul Rather and joint project with the script technique.
Okay.
Let me say this. Look, it's a clear message that the Union Party government is on path. Of course, all his roses we know, but the government is doing extremely well in it again. If there's no way from Saturday homecoming, the margins tenor in their numbers, they appreciate the president for his level of work doing 2 years now. So, let me tell you, come 2029, the president will be re-elected.
Okay.
Take it to the bank.
Okay, thank you. I'll go to the bank and see it. President will be re-elected. Gentlemen, we have to go. Time has got off us. Let's go around the table again. The issues we've been talking about. Let's get our parting comment on those issues. Out of them, we can pick one of the topics, and then we get our parting comment quickly. Dave, let's begin with you.
Yeah, saying that there are more enemies within the Unity Party are more dangerous than even the opposition. I think it's an exaggeration. First thing. The other one is that look, I acknowledge the boldness,
okay,
and the courage of Wilmer P. Sometimes he take, very radical positions, but he should be brave enough to name the enemies within so that the Unity Party can take the necessary precaution.
Well, I will start from the issue of the SOEs. And I think if the legislators want to make these SOEs profitable, they first of all needs to look at the laws that created these SOEs. Many of these SOEs, the law that created them run far back to 1960, 1970. Okay. Some of these laws have to be repealed and actually brought into normal day reality, because it goes far as to even how people are appointed on the board of those SOEs. Mm-hmm. It goes as far as who can become a managing director, what authority do the management team has. if we don't do these things, if we still want to operate under 1960 and 1973 laws, we remain in the cycles that we are. These SOEs will never be profitable for the next 100 years.
Wow.
We just need to find a way to look at the laws. And I think as the lawmakers are having these sessions with them, they need to now start looking at the law. I just said it tonight that LPRC was not created by that of the legislature. So we now have to sit back and say, look, we have to do, because the president can get up today and say, I only want one person to run the LPRC. There's no law that says you have 3 deputies or 4. No.
Okay.
So these things have to clearly be looked into.
Reviewed. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Josh, let's hear from you.
A law creating some of the entities name positions that can be filled.
I know, yeah.
The only one that is there is the president has the right to create positions in those places. And a public entity, I mean, you get a right to create position there and then put people. But I really want to say that Deputy Speaker Thomas Falla, not because he joined the Unity Party as the major party in the country, the ruling party, he was given all the arms and ammunition by the CDC for him to go. After they struggled for one another, he was disgraced, he was embarrassed, he was thrown out, and he has to find another political clown in order for him to be well positioned to fight back.
Okay.
And he did that. I also want to say to Honorable Wilmer Pay, I believe that he has something to say, even greater than what he said. I know him, know who he is. And he could say, or maybe he could say internally, let the people see, leadership see what they can act on it. But I think he has what he said, we should look into it deeply to see how it can be resolved.
Okay, Dave?
Yeah. But the show was a good show.
I've spoken.
Okay.
The show was a
What
good
I
show.
think that, let me say mine. I think, and I want to talk about Wilmer Pay.
Don't forget about Moses.
Again, no, I think Moses.
Moses is not on.
Okay.
As the Unity Party needs to take into consideration what those issues that Wilmer Pay has flagged. They are very important. Wilmer Pay is just not ordinary Wilmer Pay. He's a very strong. He's a strong guy in the Unity Party. Wilmer Pay and the rest of the Gafwan, the Wilmer Pay, the Steve Plumpy, they all brought this Unity Party to power. We know the role they played. They were very effective. This was a man who stood against a sitting president and said, look, this will not happen. In fact, he was part of the arrangement to even expel former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. So hoping that President Boakai can reflect where his heart to know some of the roles that Wilmer Pay played and we put a team together to have a discussion with Wilmer Pay. This is a guy, and I believe Wilmer Pay can destabilize the Unity Party. It's possible.
That is not possible.
You will not agree to that, but I know he can do it. He
was not capable
please,
to do it.
let me please. Wilmer Pay can destabilize the Unity Party. He got a couple of individuals who share the same ideologies of him, and like he said, the party has a couple of enemies within, and they got to look at the enemies, whether they're from the MDR, it's possible, whether they are from the other,
from the CDC.
No, CDC, that collaborating with them. They need to look at the collaborating parties. So, truth be told, the hierarchy of the party needs to take into consideration what Wilmer Pay has said and act on it and do something about that. Well, until then, we're still making frantic efforts to come on daily, and that will likely start in January by God's grace. We are trying to gather the resources so that at least every day we can be here, and then the competition during the night can be more strengthened, because we are we come here 3 times a week, so others think that they are more, they got the edge more than us, but we're going to knock them out as soon as we start coming daily. Until then, thanks to all of you gentlemen for coming, and thanks to our producer as well. Listeners, viewers, have a splendid night, a restful night. Sabo George is my name.